Hello, good evening, Friday evening. Welcome to North West Tonight. I'm Roger Johnson. Thank you for joining us. Here's our top story. Jail for a man who assaulted police as the first of the Blackpool rioters appears in court. The judge said that Roger Hayward was at the forefront of the disturbance. Also tonight, behind the scenes with Merseyside police as they investigate two tragic and high-profile cases. Manchester United kick off the new Premier League season tonight, but the manager says they're not ready. Back where it all began, the cycling superhero Sir Mark Cavendish receives a hero's welcome on his return to the Isle of Man.
And it's been a much more pleasant day today, hasn't it? We've seen plenty of late summer sunshine. Let's see if it can hold on for the weekend, shall we? Join me later in the programme for a full forecast.
Wearing his England football shirt with Dad proudly written across the back, Roger Hayward led an angry and intimidating mob on Blackpool seafront. Today, the 41-year-old was jailed for 30 months after the judge described him as an instigator in the riot which followed last month's stabbings in Southport. Hayward had previously pleaded guilty to 2 counts of assaulting an emergency worker and violent disorder. Jonas Muller sent this from Preston Crown Court.
Roger Hayward was said to be the instigator.
10 to 1. We're overrun you easy.
And at the forefront of an angry mob in Blackpool.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do.
He encouraged a group to follow him around the centre, close to the Tower, the Comedy Carpet and Cenotaph. More than 1,000 people had turned out against a background of widespread disorder in the wake of the killings of 3 children in Southport.
People from all communities who make up the British public offered solidarity by either laying flowers, standing in peaceful condolence, or by silently and respectfully holding the bereaved families in their hearts and in their prayers. Whereas others, such as you, decided to usurp this terrible incident as an excuse for mindless, drunken thuggery.
The 41-year-old's involvement included attempting to pull the shutters up of a store in the Hounshill shopping centre before assaulting a security guard. At one point, a police line was formed to keep the demonstrators apart from punks who were celebrating the annual Rebellion Festival. On the day, Hayward was involved in a scuffle, and when officers tried to arrest him on suspicion of breach of the peace, the court was told he kicked out, striking 2 officers.
Roger, you're under arrest for a breach of the peace. You don't have to say anything that may harm your offence. You didn't mention one question, something placed for a court, and you say me giving evidence. Do you understand that?
Hayward has a history of offences, including violence, being drunk and disorderly, and stalking.
Today you must face up to the consequences of those actions. Everyone must understand that if you engage in this sort of mob violence, you will receive significant punishment.
My children and your children are suffering because what you're allowing to happen in our country.
His defence said consumption of alcohol was the root of all evil, and that the father of 3 is remorseful and disgusted by his behaviour and mortified that he let his family down.
No, I'm not threatening violence. Shut up. I'll do what I want.
Lancashire police have so far charged 13 people over the unrest that followed in Blackpool. Hayward is the first to be convicted and was given a sentence of 2 years and 6 months. Jonas Muller, BBC North West Tonight, Preston.
We'll look ahead to the start of the new Premier League season shortly and see what the weekend weather has in store. But first, the family of the yoga teacher who was injured in last month's stabbings in Southport say that she has been readmitted to hospital. Leanne Lucas tried to protect the children from the attacker who killed 3 girls at a dance class. The M6 was closed for around 12 hours earlier today due to a police incident near Standish. The motorway reopened around lunchtime after significant delays and diversions. And 20 members of the Langdale, Ambleside and Kendal mountain rescue teams spent 6 hours yesterday rescuing a dog which had become stranded after heavy rain. Using a rope system, 2 of the team brought the animal over the river to safety.
It had been a day of very heavy rain and the beck was quite swollen. It had managed to get itself out of the beck after tumbling down a couple of waterfalls. The only way to recover it was to set up a rather complex rope system. One of our team members is qualified as a veterinary nurse, and she gave it a quick check over, but the dog seemed more than happy.
Well done to all involved. Now, a senior Merseyside police officer says that she hopes a new documentary about 2 high-profile murders will make people realise how much they can trust the police. Next week, Channel 4 will broadcast 4 programmes about the murders 2 years ago of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell and Ashley Dale. They were shot in Liverpool within 48 hours of each other. I'm sure you remember the stories. We reported them numerous times on the programme. Andy Gill has this report.
BBC News at 2:30, I'm Nikki Cardwell. A murder investigation started after a woman was found with gunshot wounds in the garden of a house in Liverpool.
Detective Chief Inspector Kath Cummings on her way to Ashley Dale's home in the Old Swan area of Liverpool in August 2022. Ashley, who was wholly innocent, was shot dead by a drug dealer who burst into her house and fired a submachine gun. Liverpool-based TV company LA Productions spent a year filming behind the scenes with Merseyside police. Today, DCI Cummings said at first she was nervous about having a film crew with her.
And I was a bit worried that that would put people off from being as engaging and sitting there quietly, because you know that there's a camera there and there's a microphone and we're all being filmed. But, you know, it didn't happen like that at all.
So the fatal shooting of Olivia Pratt-Corbell, it's come in at just 10 o'clock last night.
The programmes also cover the murder of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell, shot dead just 2 days after Ashley's murder. Sam Rimmer had been murdered just 5 days before Ashley. Kath Cummings says the programmes bring back the intensity of that summer.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you think of the number of hours you were working, not going home, not having weekends off, and that went on for an extended period. It was very intense, and then when you watch it back now and you think, gosh, I was tired there, but you just work through it because you've got to keep going because there's a family at the end of it.
The programme also features Ashley Dale's mum, Julie, talking about how Ashley's boyfriend, Lee Harrison, the intended target of the shooting, refused to cooperate with police.
Your girlfriend has been shot dead in the home that you shared together, but you can't speak.
When people watch it, what do you hope people will take away from the documentary?
I hope that the public, when they watch it, they get the impression of how much trust that they can have in us, the confidence, all the support and the focus that we give to victims and the family and the wider community and why we do it.
Merseyside Detectives goes out at 9 p.m. Monday to Thursday next week on Channel 4. Andy Gill, BBC North West Tonight, Liverpool.
Right, next to another of the people who are making a difference where they live, who have been nominated for a BBC Local Radio Make a Difference Award. Dirk and Rose Outerdike have set up a weekly coffee morning at a church in Ellesmere Port, where they teach asylum seekers IT skills and will chat to anyone who needs company. They're shortlisted for a BBC Merseyside Award, and Juliet Phillips has been to see them.
I went on training last Monday with a lawyer about how to help asylum seekers.
Chats over coffee and cake are always on offer from Dirk and Rose Outerdike. But the couple from Ellesmere Port don't just lend a sympathetic ear. They give practical advice too.
This will teach you basic skills to do with the laptop.
The course they teach in computing has been vital for asylum seekers like Paulos.
They gave me a laptop and that's helping me to study English, to learn English. Meeting them, I get like a family because they are offering their ears to hear at the tough times, you know.
There are quite a number of charities providing support, help, clothes for them, and we point to those places. But what we want to do is offer friendship as well to them. You like it here or not?
Yeah, because of you.
Because of you.
It's much more to do with feeling empathy with people and trying to put yourself in the shoes of someone else and trying to feel what it's like not to know the language. Come here with with a suitcase or a bin bag.
Hi Rose, hi Dirk. Dirk and Rose don't just offer support from the local church cafe. Once a month, they hold their Food on a Friday event, where they open up their home to dish up free food and friendship. Shirley Rigby is a regular attendee.
It's forged friendships, you know, amongst us that we probably wouldn't have had otherwise. And I just think that they're just fantastic. They've got a real gift of hospitality. They just welcome you in, and it's marvellous to see.
All their hard work hasn't gone unnoticed. Dirk and Rose are finalists in the Good Neighbour category of the Radio Merseyside Make a Difference Awards. So how would they feel if they were crowned the winners?
What we do is so super simple and so mundane, if you like, and so, yeah, so I don't think we'll win. But if there's one message that is that kindness goes a long way, and kindness can be very, very small. It can mean a lot.
Juliet Phillips, BBC North West Tonight, Ellesmere Port.
Well done to everyone who's involved with the Make a Difference Awards. Now, the new Premier League season starts tonight. We'll look ahead in just a moment. But this week has also seen a new initiative in safeguarding. The issue of child protection in football, of course, has been prominent since revelations about the abuse carried out by the former coach Barry Bennell. That's almost a decade ago now that all that publicity was coming out. But one man who's worked for years to improve safeguarding, not just in football, but for all young people, is the former Manchester City and Liverpool striker Paul Stewart, who himself was a victim of abuse as a young player. Paul is behind the new Safeguarding Fundamentals quality mark for sports clubs. He's here. He's going to tell us more about it. It's good to see you, Paul. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me, Roger.
Just in a nutshell, tell us what this Safeguarding Fundamentals quality mark is.
Yes, what we're trying to do is encourage clubs to come on board, show us their commitment to safeguarding. We have 8 standards, whether it be a policy, safer recruitment, the training, come to us, shows us that they've done everything they possibly can to make the children safe at the organisation. And we want that displayed at their organisations, around the organisations, on the website. And we want it to act also as a deterrent. I want people to see that if an organisation has achieved the quality mark, then they're not going to be able to perpetrate any sort of abuse or bullying at the organisation. In fact, you know, it'll give parents as well, you know, sort of comfort that everything that possibly can be done to keep their child safe at that organisation has been done by achieving the quality mark.
And while there can be no guarantees in any context, as you say, it gives that reassurance, doesn't it? I mean, just the impact of what happened to you. I mean, I know you've talked about it before, but how did it impact you?
Well, I think my story has been well documented, but as I've said before, I mean, I think the impact of that, the abuse had on me long term was devastating. And it wasn't just me, but it affected my family as well, because when I told my story, they had to deal with the fact that, you know, when you look at parents, they thought that they'd let me down because they didn't look after me. My brothers felt guilty because I was the younger brother. So the impact actually reverberates through a whole family. So I've wanted to do something since I came forward, rather than that be something that defines me. I wanted to use my story to help others, and this is probably culminated in all the work that I've done, is probably something I'm really passionate about, because I want children to go to these organisations and flourish and enjoy it and feel safe. Yeah. And I think, you know, this quality mark will reassure parents, coaches, and, as I say, deter these individuals that are still out there and want to perpetrate the abuse. Will make them think twice of trying to infiltrate these organisations.
And you've had some fantastic support from your former football friends, Gary Lineker, Brian Robson, just in this part of the world, Peter Reid, Robbie Fowler, Ian Rush.
Yes.
It's almost like a who's who.
Do you know what? And I can't thank them enough, because I picked the phone up to them and they were unwavering in their support. And I think it's great that we have the old guard that when we played now really thinking about the youngsters that are coming through and wanting to make sure that they can enjoy the the experience and flourish to the best of their ability.
Now, this kite mark, if you like, that you've come up with, you think is probably the first of its kind.
Yes.
Just in a nutshell, how can it doesn't have to be a sports club, it can be any club with young people involved. How can they get involved? How can they find out more?
Well, they go to the website, which is safeguardingfundamentals.com. We've made it very simple. I mean, my colleague Antonia, who's been a safeguarding specialist for a number of years, has made it as easy as possible for these companies and, these organisations to get involved in. They will send us the information. I think it's more that I want them to show us the commitment that they are committed to looking after the children at their organisation. So I want them to really say, we've got all this in place. Let's get this mark and let's display it around our organisation and be proud to do so. But we will do checks, you know, and they won't know what checks we've done on them. There are 8 standards that we want them to achieve. And if they haven't got 8 standards in place, they don't need to worry. We'll help them to achieve that standard. And in a word, excited about the start of the new football season? I suppose you always are, the Premier League season. I always get excited about a football season. We've got Manchester United, I know, playing tonight here in Manchester. I mean, people will be anxious about it, I guess. They will. We've got City playing Chelsea. I think for me, City is still going to be the team that everybody's got to try and beat to achieve that. Thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it, especially on a Friday evening, Paul. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks, Paul. Paul mentioned Manchester United. They are playing tonight. Let's go straight to Old Trafford. Richard Askham is there. The big season in the Premier League kicks off tonight, Rich.
It does, Roger. You can really feel the excitement as well of a new season. We've got Liverpool at Ipswich tomorrow lunchtime, Everton hosting Brighton, and then, as Paul said there, Manchester City at Chelsea on Sunday. But it all starts, as you say, Roger, here at Old Trafford tonight. Manchester United hosting Fulham. Delighted to say I'm joined by United fan Jay Motti from the Stretford paddock. Great to see you, Jay. Let's talk first of all about comments that the manager Erik ten Hag made, where he said the team isn't ready. Not exactly a rallying cry, Jay.
No, and I think it might have been sort of, maybe taken out of context a little bit. I think he was sort of alluding to the idea that you can prepare all you can and transfers coming in and no one's quite fully ready once that season starts. I don't think you can ever be 100%. I know a lot of people have picked up on that and used it as a stick to sort of beat Erik ten Hag with. But I kind of get where he's coming from in the sense that you can be prepared, but are you ever 100% ready? And I think with some of the injuries we've had in pre-season and the fact that we've had a few signings come in who've not really played for Manchester United yet, then you can't be 100% ready.
Just on that, Jay, I mean, you're optimistic. We've been having a chat ahead of the new season with the new signings and so on. Do you think that it really could be a good season for United?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I was backing Erik ten Hag. Me and you spoke last season. Even when things were going wrong, I think there's still a good manager there, and I felt sorry for him with the amount of injuries we had. You look at that FA Cup final, how big that was to win that trophy, to beat City in the manner we did as well. That's a real boost. And then you look at this summer, we've had some signings coming in. Probably could do with one more, at least another midfielder in my opinion. But I feel like with the players we've got, if we can have an injury-free season, or at least not an injury-free one, but better injury record than we had last season, then I think there's every chance this manager can have some success.
Yeah, there were a lot of injuries, weren't there? How important is it that Erik ten Hag gets off to a quick start after what happened last season?
It's vital. You look at last season, and I'm not going to make any excuses. Finishing 8th wasn't good enough. Our home record here last season was pretty woeful. You look at some of the games we lost to the likes of Fulham, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Brighton. I won't go into it, you know them all as it is. So I feel like we have to get off on the right foot. And if we were to lose today already, there's going to be question marks around Erik ten Hag. I don't think we will, but if we were, then it wouldn't be good enough. So yeah, I think he has to get off to a positive start. And no disrespect to Fulham, I know they beat us last season, but we should be able to beat Fulham. We should be good enough for them. So yeah, no excuses really.
All right, Jay. Thanks very much indeed. Enjoy the game. Thanks very much, Jay. Really appreciate it. Well, we know, don't we, how difficult it's been for managers to follow Sir Alex Ferguson here at United. But it can't be easy either, can it, to follow Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool? That's what Arne Slot is doing, of course. And his first match is, as I mentioned, tomorrow against Ipswich Town.
Job following a football legend in Jurgen Klopp, who not only got Liverpool the football club, he got Liverpool the city. Really difficult challenge for Arne Slot, but I actually think there's a positivity amongst the supporters.
Excited, of course, but it has nothing to do with what you just said. But I think after a pre-season, it's always, for a player and also for a manager or a coach, it's always nice to start the season because this is where you've worked for not always true that if you bring in new players, the team becomes stronger, because I also believe in general that every player in the team needs to have perspective on playing.
In this situation, really, it's the players that hold all the best cards.
What can Liverpool fans expect in terms of realistic targets? Is the title realistic, do you think?
Will the Premier League be a bit of a long shot? Probably, with a new manager and an adaptation to a new footballing style. I think Liverpool will be fighting for honours. And I'd be surprised if there wasn't some silverware on the Liverpool mantelpiece come the end of the season.
Talking of Ipswich, Manchester City midfielder Calvin Phillips has gone on a season-long loan to the newly promoted side. The 28-year-old England international only made 6 starts for City since signing from Leeds 2 years ago for £45 million. City are understood to be paying a portion of his wages. It's Super League's magic weekend as well, with all the games this time at a new venue, Leeds United's Ellen Road. Some huge games as well, as there always are. We've got the Wigan Saints derby, Warrington taking on Leeds, another big game, and Lee Leopards and Salford Red Devils clashing on Sunday as well. All the best coverage of those matches on your BBC local radio station. As for this match here tonight, Eric Ten Hag will know that last season finishing 8th in the league wasn't good enough, and they'll want to get off to a good start, United, against Fulham this evening. Kick-off is at 8 o'clock, Rog.
Richard, thank you very much indeed. Yes, the Premier League is back. It has, though, been quite a summer for Mark Cavendish, knighted by the King. He then became the most successful stage winner in Tour de France history. And today, he was back where it all started. The Isle of Man cyclist joined youngsters to cycle round the track where it all began for him. And Ashley Tracy was there.
Born and bred on the Isle of Man, crowds were keen to welcome home the Manx missile.
Cav is a bit of a legend to us all, but especially Albert.
The king of cycling, the greatest of all time. Yeah, we're all very, very proud of him.
When he crashes, he gets back up and he has to carry on with it. And last year he didn't retire, did he? He went back for one more.
The 39-year-old became the most successful stage winner in Tour de France history when he took his 35th victory last month. And today he was back where he began cycling competitively as a child for a lap of honour.
From all the noise the whole way around the race circuit, and it makes me proud that, I get to call this home.
And what was special about this homecoming was an invite to young Manx cyclists to join him.
Having so many kids out riding their bike around with us, my kids love to ride, and they race down here on a Tuesday, and it's where I started 30 years ago. To think I could have ridden with even a professional would have filled me with such inspiration. So to see so many kids out riding, so many people out with flags and saying well done is very, very beautiful.
Cav's, he's a bit of a hero on the Isle of Man.
We've been very proud of him, following him for his whole career.
He's Manx and he's excellent, and he's a great advocate for the island, and just adore him, really.
He's just lovely with the children, stopping and talking to them all, isn't he?
Coach Dot Tilbury played a key role in Sir Mark's early career.
Having somebody like Sir Mark Cavendish as the inspiration, it couldn't be better.
And we can expect more scenes like this next year when this very track will be renamed in his honour, the Sir Mark Cavendish Raceway. Ashley Tracy, BBC North West Tonight, Douglas.
I think that's fair enough, don't you, naming the track after him? A fantastic achievement. Lots of smiling faces on the Isle of Man as Mark Cavendish came home today. Abby's here. Let's have a look at the weather. Is it going to be all right for the weekend? It's been nice today.
It's been very nice today, yeah, and thankfully today is a really good indicator as to what the weekend is doing too. It started off a little bit misty though, didn't it? We've had this photo sent in, Rammy Rambler in Ramsbottom. I think that's a dog hiding in the bush in the mist first thing this morning. It lifted quite quickly, thankfully, and most of us then managed to enjoy lots of sunshine. Thank you to Photography for sending this photo in Fleetwood. Clear blue skies, just fluffy clouds. It's very sort of Simpsons-esque, that sky, isn't it? If you do take a weather photo this weekend and you'd like to send it in to us here at BBC North West Tonight, all the details are on your screen right now. You can send it in to me on social media, or you can become one of our BBC Weather Watchers and get some of your photos used on the telly. So the forecast for the weekend then, it is looking mostly dry and settled. We've got high pressure keeping things mostly dry. There will just be an isolated shower or two, but plenty of sunshine and pretty decent temperatures as well. Pretty much spot on for what we'd normally expect this time of year. So we're kind of sandwiched between low pressure and high pressure at the moment. So that is going to lead to a pretty typical Atlantic westerly setup this weekend. So temperatures could be a little bit suppressed if you are heading to the coast, but inland it should feel quite pleasant. And overnight tonight, our temperatures will drop to a far more comfortable 9 or 10 degrees. We could see a couple of showers, but mostly dry, variable cloud, clear spells, and temperatures much more suitable to get to sleep, 9 or 10 degrees. So as we start the day tomorrow, there will be a couple of isolated showers floating through, but as you can see on the graphics, they are very well scattered. You'll have to be really unlucky to get caught in one of these showers tomorrow. It looks mostly dry and fine. We'll see variable clouds and decent spells of sunshine, and our temperatures pretty much spot on, perhaps a little bit above the average for this point in August, 19 or 20 degrees. But into next week, our weather does turn much more mixed, much more changeable. We actually have an ex-Hurricane Ernesto that will bring some fairly unsettled weather around Thursday and Friday. Still some uncertainty, but as it bumps into an area of low pressure, it may well bring some strong winds and some very heavy rain for Thursday and potentially as we approach the August bank holiday weekend. But back to this weekend. Sunday is set to be a decent day too. Perhaps a couple of showers early doors, a bit more cloud, but into the afternoon we'll see a lot more sunshine. Our temperatures will reach around about 19 degrees Celsius, and it should be a fine end to your weekend. Now Monday, I think we'll get off to a decent start, dry with some sunshine, but into the afternoon it will turn a little bit cloudier, and we are at risk of seeing a couple of showers develop Monday afternoon. And then Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, our weather takes a turn, much more mixed, much more changeable, with showers or longer spells of rain, Rog.
So this weekend's not too bad, is it?
No.
So what was his name? Hurricane what?
Ernesto. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can guarantee that there's an ex-hurricane on the way when there's a bank holiday.
A bank holiday, yeah, just in time.
Honestly. Well, thank you for the long-range forecast. We really appreciate it. That's it. Annabelle's got your late news at 10:30 tonight. But from all the 6:30 team, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.